Okay. Shalom. As always, we're going to start off with Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Give you thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, in the name of the Lord and Savior. So all that we say and do is going to be in the name of the Lord and Savior. We ask the Most High to send His Holy Spirit. We thank Him for everything. He's worthy to be praised. Hallelujah to His holy name for everything. So I was asked about John the 4th chapter. So we're going to go into John the 4th chapter to get some understanding on it, because it's, at this time a little controversy on the Samaritan woman. So I'm going to give you, through the Spirit of the Most High, my take on it, and let's go into it. John the 4th chapter, John 4:1. When therefore the Mashiach Yahushua knew how the Pharisees had heard that the Mashiach Yahushua made and baptized more disciples than John, though Mashiach Yahushua himself baptized not, but his disciples. So you should know, he didn't baptize anyone. His disciples were doing the baptizing. He left Judea and departed again into Galilee, going to northern Israel. And he must needs go through Samaria. So he's going to Galilee, he got to go through Samaria. Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. So he came to a parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. You look at Genesis 33 and 19. Going back to our forefather Jacob. We'll start with 18. And Jacob came to Shalom, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padanaram and pitched his tent before the city. And he bought a parcel of a field where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Amor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there an altar and called it Elohim, Israel. So, as you see, he purchased this land way back then. So, and you got to follow along with me, because you can see that well, it'll answer itself as we get there. You'll see the conversation, as this conversation goes, you'll see how Mashiach Yahushua is dealing with this woman. So John 4 and 5 said, then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is in northern Israel. This is the land that the Ephraimites had. Ephraim, which is called Sychar. You understand? I said had. Near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. See, it's near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Jacob, but it's not that particular land that Jacob gave to his son Joseph, but it's near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Mashiach therefore, being wearied in his journey, sat thus on the well. So he had been, traveling a little ways, and he said, he was tired, so he sat on the well. And it was about the 6th hour. About the 6th hour, getting hot. Sun beating down on his head. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Mashiach said to her, give me to drink. Give me something to drink. So she came to draw some water out of the well. Mashiach said, hey, give me some of the tree. For the disciples were gone away into the city to buy meat. They wasn't buying no undefiled or unclean meats. They knew the dietary law in Leviticus 11th chapter. They wasn't going to buy no pork, no shrimp, no crab, and lobster, and catfish, and all the things that's abominable. You know, Mashiach didn't sin, so they couldn't go get him anything that was abominable. So, continually says, then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, in Hebrews 7:14, says, for it is evident, it's a fact, that our power, the same of Mashiach we're reading about here, sprang out of Judah. So, Jew is just short for Judah, tribe of Judah. Plus, you know, the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, was called Judah, or Jews, for short. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. See, we don't have no dealings with you. We don't have no dealings with the Samaritans. Because the Most High separated us from all people, from all nations. We wasn't integrated with all the other nations. Look at Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, their lands that they're going to live in, when he separated the sons of Adam, he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So he gave Israelites their land, then he gave the other nations their land. But the Most High's portion is his people. Who's his people? Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. So, Most High separated all the nations. Deuteronomy 10:15. See, we didn't deal with these other nations. Most High said, don't even deal with them. Gave us clear instructions. Deuteronomy 10 and 15. Only the Most High had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people as it is this day. So, Most High chose us above all people. Leviticus 20 and look at verse 24. Leviticus 20:24. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Most High your power, which have separated you from other people. Can't get no clearer than that. Verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Most High, am holy, and have severed, which means separated, you from other people, that ye should be mine. And he told us in Deuteronomy 7:3, why we didn't have no dealings with other nations. He says, these other nations, as you're going to see that she is. He said, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. This is Deuteronomy 7:3. So he told us we ain't supposed to marry them. We ain't supposed to give our daughter to them to be their sons. Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. See? For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods, other idols. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly? So that's why we wasn't dealing with other nations. Because, you look at, we knew that the Messiah was coming for the children of Israel. He even said it out of his own mouth in Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but, that's that condition, unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So, she's saying the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans. So if it's an Israelite, then we have dealings with them. So, going back to Genesis 4, no, not Genesis, but St. John 4:9. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou being a Jew, ask drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. So we got to look at this, because there's something that happened also why we would not have any dealings with the Samaritans. Also, let's look at let's go into the history of what happened to get more understanding of why is it that she's saying this and why we didn't just deal with these nations. Most are separated from all these nations, but there's a reason why we didn't deal with them, because of the fact of they weren't our people. We didn't deal with those that we thought wasn't our people. So when you understand our story, and not his story, but our story, when King Solomon sinned in his elderly age and got with the Gentile women, where the Most High just told us in Deuteronomy 7:3 and 4, what we just read, that they're going to turn your mind away from him. But that's what King Solomon did. He made temples to these other nations' gods. And so the Most High told him he's going to split the kingdom. But for David's sake, he wasn't split it during the time that King Solomon lived. But he did it during his son's reign, who was Rehoboam. And Jeroboam was over the northern tribes, 9.5 tribes. Like Ephraim was the head tribe of the 9.5 tribes. So Jeroboam is over the 9.5 tribes, and since Rehoboam, listened to his little homies that was young like him and not the elders that rolled with Solomon, he said he's going to make it hard on him. So Jeroboam pulled away from coming to Jerusalem, and he made 2 calves, 2 golden calves. Remember, we had already made one. Moses went up to the mountain to get the commandments from the Most High. So he made 2 golden calves. So the Most High said, okay, I'm getting rid of y'all. The 9.5 tribes. So I'm getting rid of y'all. So when you look at the 1 Kings, the 11th chapter, you can read this on your own. The first part, for 1 to approximately 11, is talking about King Solomon and the things that he did. As I told you, marrying these strange women, and they turned his mind in his older age from following the Most High. He made idol altars to them. That's why the Most High, he wasn't against him with the Israelite women. He had 1,000 women. But these other strange nations that had these other gods, so don't deal with them, because they're going to turn your mind away from him. And anytime you bow down to their gods, you go into theirs and make shrines to them, then you follow their gods. So let's look at 1 Kings 11 and 26. And Jeroboam this moment. And Jeroboam the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite of Zerudah, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. It was Jeroboam. He set over the 9.5 tribes. Was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph, which would be the northern tribes, which is Ephraim. Joseph represents Ephraim. It came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah, the Hilonite, found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment. And they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus said the Most High, the power of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me, and have worshipped Ashereth, the goddess of the Sidonians. She mocks the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, Africans, and Chinese, and Japanese, and have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. Howbeit I will not take the whole kingdom. I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hands. I will take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David my servant's sake, whom I chose. Because I told you. Because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. So that's when he split the kingdom. So we're all together until this period of time right here. And unto his son will I give one tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desire, and shall be king over Israel. That's the northern tribes. 9.5 tribes. We're saying 10 here was count Levi as the 10th tribe. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and wilt walk in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments as David my servant did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. That's the northern tribes he's saying. If he keep his commandments. It's always order with the Most High. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. So afflict them, but not forever. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam. Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt, unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. So you see here how the Most High gave him orders, like he always gives us. Follow my orders, you'll be blessed. You don't, you're going to be cursed. I'm gonna jack your butt up. But see, when you look at what he did, he went off, just like most of the kings that we had went off, right along with him. Therefore, the people suffered. As the leader is, so is his servants. So that's what happened with us. Over and over and over and over again. We couldn't get it right. So you look at man, you blame man if you want to, but you can't really just blame man because we are the Most High. We are Mashiach Yahushua. We are the angels. We are the word of the Most High. You see? They knew what was right from wrong. They knew the law of Moses. It was there. That's why he said, how can the Most High tell him to do what I say do if his rules and regulations wasn't there for him to do? So he messed up. So let's go to 2 Kings, the 17th chapter. Just to bring up the part of what happened. And you can read a lot of this on your own. Look at 2 Kings 17, and we're going to look at verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria, the same place where this woman said, during the time that Mashiach was Shizon, and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria. For Jeroboam, like I told you, build these 2 calves and say, this is who brought us out of Egypt. So the Most High sent the king of Assyria to take them out of Samaria. He took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria into captivity, and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Most High, their power, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods. Start following other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Most High cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. The children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Most High, their power. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchmen to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places. This is why the Most High brought them into captivity, as did the heathen, whom the Most High carried away before them. So he said, learn not to wear the heathen, but here we are, doing the things that the heathen did, as it is today, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Most High to anger. So the Most High ain't about all love. You see what it said? Provoke the Most High to anger. For they serve idols. I tell you in Psalm 96 and 5, for all the gods of the nations are idols. For they serve idols. These are the gods of the other nations. Wherefore the Most High has said unto them, ye shall not do this thing, as he telling us today. Yet the Most High testified against Israel and against Judah, the northern tribes and the southern tribes, by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, just like people don't want to hear it now. We ain't under the law. But harden their necks, like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in the Most High their power, and they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them, and they followed vanity and became vain, worthless in the eyes of the Most High. You following vanity if you ain't following the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. That's what he's telling you here. You in some religion that's telling you that you ain't got to follow him, and if you say you're not under his laws, you ain't following him. That's his rules and regulations. That's why I say you vain. And they followed vanity and became vain, worthless, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Most High had charged them that they should not do like them. Can't get no clearer than that. So you got to check yourself. Are you following the way of the heathen, or you being an Israelite? Knowing how it is to be an Israelite. And they left all the commandments of the Most High their power and made them molten images, even 2 calves, like I told you, and made a grove and worshiped all the hosts of heaven and served Baal. That's why the Most High said, learn not the way of the heathen. Don't be just made of the signs of heaven, for the heathen are just made of the signs of heaven, the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything in the sky. They served Baal. They served the devil. They caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and use divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Most High, to provoke him to anger. Again, said it in verse 11, now he's saying it again in verse 17. Therefore the Most High was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight, removed them out of the land. He removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Wasn't nobody left but the tribe of Judah only. Also Judah kept not the commandments, wicked, as the Most High their power, of the Most High their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. And the Most High rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. Till the Syrians got rid of all of them, took them all into captivity. Till the Most High got them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David. And they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Most High, and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. As the king is, so is his people, his servants. They departed not from them, departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the king, until the Most High removed Israel out of his sight. You got to see, stay with me, because this is northern Israel, Samaria, where they were at. The Most High removed them out of his sight. Keep saying that over and over again. As he had said by all his servants, the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Now here we go. Verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, these Ethiopians, and from Kudah, and from Avad, these are Ethiopians, and from Amath, and from Sepharvaim, these are Hamites, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria. And they possessed Samaria. And they possessed Samaria. And dwelt in the cities thereof. These Hamites. And they possessed Samaria. And dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, when he first brought them into northern Israel, Samaria, that they feared not the Most High. Therefore the Most High sent lions among them, which slew some of them. So they ain't fear the Most High. They ain't want to keep the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High in the land that he loved. So the Most High sent lions in there to kill them. They had a movie like that. The lions was going around killing Hamites. So he sent lions to this and killed some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria, know not the matter of the Most High of the land. They ain't know the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High of the land. They ain't know how they gotta follow him to live in that land that he loved. Therefore he hath sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them. These lions was killing them. Because, this is why, because they know not the manner of the power of the land. They know not the law, statutes, commandments of the power of the land. Because they brought their gods with them. And Most High sent lions in there. They ain't fear the Most High. They ain't had a knowledge of the Most High. See what it says? Because they know not the matter of the power of the land. And the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the matter of the Most High of the land. So you see, the priests went there to teach these Hamites that's living in northern Israel how to follow the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. It's no different than you take today, the Jewish people, they call themselves who? Israeli, right? Jewish, I say just something meaning pertaining to being like the Jew, but people think that they are the Hebrew Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, but they're not. But they still say they follow the Torah. What is that? The laws of the Most High, right? The same thing that here, the priests come in to show them how to follow the manner of the Most High. Who are they? Hamites. Because they live in that land. It's like the Jewish people living in the land of Israel. They're going to live in there and not follow the manner of the Most High as you see here. No different. Verse 28, then one of the priests, you got to see this so you understand this is what happened to these Hamites, why they're there. And after so long, just like the people, the Jewish people say what? Their father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But they're not really the descendants from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They're descendants from Abraham and Isaac and Esau, but not Jacob. But here it is. They were taught the ways of Jacob, because the covenant was given to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, to the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, they can name the 12 tribes and name who they are as part of the 12 tribes of Israel. Then, hey, we're talking, but they really can't. Most of them don't even know 12 tribes. You see, so that's today. So here they are in this land. They haven't been removed from the land to the time that a Mashiach comes. That's why she's saying the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritan, because they're not our people. Verse 28, then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Most High. Read it again. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, one of the Levites, they were the priests, and taught them how they should fear the Most High. See? Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth, Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Negal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima. The Hivites made, the Avites made Nimhaz and Tartak, and the Savarvites burnt their children in fire to Adrimelech and Namalek, the gods of Sepharvaim. So they feared the Most High, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared the Most High, and served their own gods after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day they do after the former matters. They fear not the Most High, neither do they after their statutes. or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandment which the Most High commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, with whom the Most High had made a covenant and charged them, saying, Ye shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But the Most High who brought you up out of the land of Egypt, not no calves, or 2 calves, with great power and a stretched out arm, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye do sacrifice. In the statutes and the ordinances and the law and the commandment which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall not fear other gods. And the covenant that I have made with you, the Israelites, ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other gods. But the Most High your power ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. See, these are key factors all throughout the Bible. Most of you said, we follow you, we keep your commandments, you're going to deliver us out of the hand of all our enemies. Albeit they did not hearken, but they did after their own former manner. So these nations feared the Most High and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers. So do they unto this day. So let's go back to John the 4th chapter. So you see, that's the story of the Hamites that Salmanazar put there, king of Assyria. So that's why she's saying what she's saying. John 4. And true Israel, so we were so far we didn't even deal with our own people. Call them Gentiles. The other nations, they ain't want to deal with them. Just as it is today. Or you with us, you can't deal with no other camp. You can't deal with no other church. You can't deal with talking to nobody. Except for whoever you're around. That's why they call you a cult. John 4 and 9. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? Remember, her family line been there. For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans, and we ain't deal with these other nations. Remember, the Most High separated us from all these other nations. Mashiach Yoshai answered and said, This woman,